Hello and welcome back. So we are able to add lecturers to our class, yes, but we are adding the wrong user here. So let's see how we can solve that problem. Now I'm going to go to where this is all happening, and this is in the single class.php. So let's see what happens. In order to solve a problem, we have to go step by step and see what information we are supplying. Okay, so the first thing we have to check is what information are we bringing in here. So I'm going to copy this, and right about here I will just do show like this so that we see what's inside the posted data. Okay, like so. And then let's do die so that the whole script will end right there. So I'm going to add, let's go back to the vibe, click, and there we go. So we have we were searching here, so this is the wrong place to add this. I'm going to cut it out, and we're going to do this only when we select. So I'll put that in that if statement, refresh, resend. That way we have a user to select. But once I click select, let's see what we have. So clearly here we have the correct user. This is vibe.peters, and that's the correct admin. But then how do we end up adding the wrong guy? Let's try and refresh this, resend, and let's see what we've got. We have two of the same person, and this is not cool. Now this has also revealed that we are unable to put users in this line like so. So let's go and fix that real quick. I'll go back to class tab lecturers. Right here I will add a div, and I will give it a class name of card group, since these are cards. And let me make sure that there's a closing tag there, and yeah, card group should work fine. And there we go. And we can justify the content in the center, justify content center like so. Let's refresh, and there we go. So we have two lecturers here, but these are obviously not the lecturers we are looking for. So let's see what's going on. So once we select here, add lecturer. Okay, so we don't need this. So the class ID is added. So this is where the problem is. The user ID is added on the other side, which is not good at all. So let me undo what I just did here. Let's try and add again. That way I see. Okay, so it's selected is equal to that. So the selected one is the user ID. So right here I will duplicate this. So this is just a simple problem. So user ID, and I will get that from the selected over here. So I say selected like so. Boom. Okay, good. And let's remove that as well. So user ID, let's come back to our table just to make sure that's what we need. Yeah, that's the user ID right there. Alrighty then, cool. So once we do this, we go to the insert of the lecturer. So it means our class as well may have a problem because it's adding a user ID by itself. So let's go to that model in models, and that's the lecturers model. Yes. So we could have named this one better because lecturers just seems like it's for adding yeah, it kind of is, but anyway, let's move on. So make user ID right here. So we don't need to make a user ID in here because we don't need this. The user ID will be selected from the other side once we create a record. So I will remove the make user ID. It's pointless. And also don't forget to remove it from here, otherwise you have an error. So let's save that, shall we? And now let's finally add the user that we want to add. So document expired, no problem. Back here, add lecturer, Mr. Vibe, search, and let's add you to the list. So let's see if we succeeded. And we did succeed to add Mr. Vibe. Also, I want this read in descending order. So this is not in descending order at all. So let's go back to, where is this? Let's go to the main model in core model, where it does not have an order, whether ascending or descending. The only one that has this is the find all. So we can change that by adding optional value as well right here. So let's add that optional value and add it there as well. Okay, so order by descending. And let me copy that and just add it to our query. Yes. So where column is equal to value, and then we'll say order by ID, and let's put our value there, the order by. So I'm going to copy this, copy and paste here. So as you can see, this relies on an ID column being available in your table. So just make sure you have one named ID, otherwise all these guys will cause errors. So now let's refresh, and there we go. The first one, the last added is first, which is what we want, but we don't want any of these guys. So let's see if we add one more, shall we? Let's go to Vibe, search, and let's add again. Okay, so you see that I can keep adding the same lecturer multiple times, and we should have a way to figure this out and to know if this user isn't already available. Yeah. So there's a quick way to do this by just checking to see if it's contained, and then we can write something else instead. All right, so for now, let me actually, before I truncate the table, let me just do that testing here. Let's close the model, back to single class.php controller, and right about here, it's very easy to check because we have the class ID and we have the user ID. Okay, so we just need to find a row that has both these two, and then we can ignore the order and we will not redirect, right? Yes. Then we can add errors if we want. Now, we may always have errors here because we are doing something, so I want to add errors at the very top here. Let's say errors is equal to an empty array. Oops, array, like so. That way we can add errors to the end of this, like so, and errors, very nice. And now when we add something or whatever we're doing, we can always add to that array of errors if we do get some errors. So here what I want to do is use the same lecturer class to read. But this time I'll create my own query because this is a complex query. So I'm going to say check, I'll call this one check is equal to lect query. Yes. Now what is the query here? I'm going to say select. We just want to select ID because we don't really need the information. We just want to know if there is a row matching that idea. So I'll say select ID from class lecturers. Class lecturers where the user ID, user ID is equal to user ID and class ID is equal to Let's put that full colon there, class ID, like this. And we're just going to say limit 1 because we just want one result. But this has made this too long here. Let's add a query instead, query variable, like so. That way we can put an if statement there. So I'll just say query is equal to and paste that like this. Okay. So now we need to account for user ID and class ID, which is not a problem. So check, instead of saying check, we can just put an if statement. But no, that might not work out well. Or will it? Let's try an if statement here. Like this, yes. If not, like this. And let's push everything over. Boom. This one too. And let's open and close brackets and move this over to the bottom. Then we can add an else statement here instead and add to errors. So errors, add, and let's say that lecturer already belongs to this class, like this. And then we don't redirect, right? So if this is true, now we need to add those data points there. So I'm just going to create a an array like this, and let's add some values. So the first one we need is class ID or user ID. Either way, it doesn't matter. So where are we getting the class ID? Class ID is equal to ID. And you put a comma there and duplicate, because remember, this is what we are setting it to. And user ID we are setting to this one. So let me copy that and put it here and put user ID here. Okay, so if these two are available, then are not available, we'll run this. If they are, we'll run that. So let's see if it's going to comply. Add to lecturer. Okay, so syntax error, these are the easiest errors to solve. Unexpected token equals on line 50. So like I said earlier, if something is unexpected, it means the previous line is lacking something. So it's saying on line 50, unexpected token, which is the equal sign. Oh, I see. So it shouldn't be an equal sign here, it should be the fat arrow like this, because we are creating an array there. So refresh, yes. And now let's search for our user. There we go, and let's click add. Okay, so it says no results were found. This is not what we're supposed to see. We're supposed to get an error. So let's fix that. Let's go back to class tabs. Right here where we're displaying, no, not here at all. This is supposed to be in the lecturer's add.include, which is here. No results found. So it says count is greater than 0 and error should be the same as well. So let's duplicate this and put the and here, and let's put error there instead. Actually, let me ignore this for now. What I want to do instead is add an error thingy here, and we already have something similar in the signup. Where is signup? Signup.view. Right here for errors, we're just going to have to copy that because it's exactly the same. And right in here, I will add in the form like so. And let me push this a little bit backward. Push these inward. Okay, so yeah, let's refresh and let's see that. So it says that lecturer already belongs to this class, but this is happening below this form and not good at all. I have to cut this. This is the wrong form. There are two forms here. I want this to happen in here, just after the add lecturer title there. So let's refresh and resend. Okay, so that lecturer already belongs to this class. So at least now we know. Now the other thing we have a problem with is if I click search without typing anything, I still get a lecturer. Now that's because it will get all lecturers that are found in here. So we're going to solve this problem in the next video.